Hello everyone, welcome back once again to another episode of Golf Cart Garage. Obviously we are still having technical issues because Facebook is not working again. In case you're watching, Iman, the go live button on Facebook is still grayed out. It's not active. Same error code. It says a video source is required. In case you're watching there, Iman. Anyway, welcome back to Golf Cart Garage. It's Tuesday. We're just going to be on YouTube today only until we get the Facebook thing worked out. I am Tim. I work for Golf Cart Garage. I am a member of the Gearheads On Demand service that we offer. That's where you can talk with me about your golf cart issues one-on-one if you need to, or you can come here every Tuesday. We come here every Tuesday and go live. We are live right now on YouTube only. Usually we're live on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll get that worked out where we'll be live at both, but right now we're just live on YouTube. The Gearheads On Demand service that we offer is a paid service. I always have to show this. That's the pricing tier, but you can come here for free, every Tuesday and get your question in. And if I don't know the answer, there's very likely that someone in the room will. So you can might be able to get your issue steered in the right direction anyway, either from me or someone else in the room, because we have a lot of people in the room now that has experience with different brands of golf carts. I have experience with a lot of different brands, but I don't have experience with all of them. So you could easily ask me a question that I don't have any idea about. That can easily happen. Okay. This is March 11th. So if you're watching this on March the 11th, you're watching us live right now. What's up, Galactic Technologies? Daniel, how's it going, man? David Irwin, what's going on? Gene Hansen. Hello, Gene. Spring has come early. The groundhog was wrong this year in Detroit, I guess. It's warm here also, so that's cool. Mason, hello from Lake City. What's going on, Mason? Stephen Miller, one of our recent winners. Not the most recent. Most recent was Erstad, Mike Erstad. David Irwin, 75 in windy Florida. Helpless in Cabot. What's going on, sir? 71 degrees, headed toward 80. Yeah, I saw that. We are actually going to hit an 80-degree day. Is it today? I think it is. I think it's today, Tuesday. I think about, yeah, my wife was talking about we should go do something. It's getting motorcycle riding weather. 40 and sunny, where Mason is at. And I think Minnesota, is that right? Yeah, Lake City, Minnesota. William Flowers, 81 in South Alabama. What's going on, William Flowers? Kevin, sunny Indiana, chilly, 48 after 70 yesterday. Yeah, we got some different weather changes moving in, that's for sure, all over the place. Hello all, 68 and beautiful here in South Alabama. That one doesn't show the name. Is that you, William Flowers? One of them's like where it has your name, it shows just a W, but that post from South Alabama just shows a picture. Doesn't say a name. Anyway, Sir Walter, YouTube working 5x5 and sounds great. Cool, thank you, sir. Facebook hasn't paid their bills. Maybe so, I don't know what it is. We can't seem to get Facebook on a regular schedule there. William Rizzo. Hello, Tim from the Villages, Florida. What's going on? 74 in the Villages. That sounds just about right. Sounds just about perfect. Bruce, Westfield, Wisconsin, back from vacation. What's going on, Bruce? Rob, Cedar. Hey, Tim, my dad just got a Raka golf cart. I thought it was Chinese, but they are a Texas company. Pretty nice four-wheel disc brakes, LED display, lifted, aggressive tires, AC drive, and only paid $69. Are you sure it's not Chinese, Rob? I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard that one. But that sounds, pretty fancy. for that low of a price for it not to be Chinese, is what I'm saying. Mr. D, what's going on, Mr. D? Just got back from New York with my '64 Vet. I'll send pics later today. Okay, cool. Okay, Bob, so you're not William, right? You're not William Flowers. So I got two people in South Alabama. Is that correct? That's all I was trying to figure out there. Bob Lewis, not sure why no name is showing. South. Okay, yeah, that's two different people in South Alabama. All right, cool. My wife and I are actually going to South Alabama to look for maybe a retirement spot. There's a lot of nice places there. Let's see, William Flowers, no, not me, but looked at wrong number. It's 65 in Pike County. Okay, I got you. Yeah, it's two different people in, yeah, Bob, William is in Pike County in South Alabama. What's up, Craig? Joe Foster, good day, Tim. 57 Kings Mountain, Rob Cedar. It has Chinese lead acid batteries. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking that might be Chinese. Well, I got a new book. What did I get? I got a new dealer magazine, and I don't remember, you know, and it has the dealer magazine shows everybody that's doing any type of advertising, and I've not seen that name yet, RAKA. It's got, you know, everybody, all the different golf cart companies that are out there that are doing any type of advertising, usually do it in Golf Car Advisor, and that's the name of the magazine, but I haven't seen any ads in there for RAKA. Galactic, I bought a laser engraving etching cutting machine for making my logos out of vinyl. So impressive technology. I can etch metal, glass, stone. This thing is amazing. Cool. Take some pictures of some of the work, Daniel, and send them to me, and I'll show everybody what you're talking about. Yeah, this would be easy if I don't have to go over to Facebook today. Yeah, it's not working. Yep, that makes it easier on me. I hate that a lot of those people on Facebook, though, don't get a chance to show up. Hopefully they have figured out how to switch over to YouTube, because since we've had technical issues in the past, hopefully they know how to switch to YouTube and come over. All right, let's go ahead and get started after I run these social media links. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube, like and subscribe, and then you'll get a notification every time we go live, and you don't have to remember that it's Taco Tuesday. Every Taco Tuesday at 12 noon Central Time is where I'm at. So 12 noon Central Time on Tuesdays is when we go live. But if you like and subscribe, you don't have to remember that. But these other links here that I just ran, that's other platforms that we're on. You can follow us on those too. I think we hit like 16,000 subscribers on YouTube, something like that recently. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the questions. Question number 1. 61 here, Rich Eastman in Orange County, New York, heading back to Machapongo, Virginia tonight. Yep, 16,000. First question is from Simon P. I own a 2006 gas Club Car Preston. The motor won't turn over. I have checked out the solenoid. It was checked out at my local shop and they said it was good. I turned the key on and pushed the gas pedal. The solenoid clicks but won't turn over the motor. What else can I check? All right, Simon, I'm glad you told me the solenoid clicks, because that would have been, as a lot of you know, that would probably have been my first question. So that means that all of your components in a Preston, you'd have a G core in a gas car, not an M core, you got a G core. So all those that tells me that all those components there are working all the way to the solenoid. Let's assume that they did check your solenoid and the solenoid is okay, because it's not 100% guaranteed that just because the solenoid clicks that it's okay. So what I would do at that point is, there's a couple of things you can do. First thing I'd do is grab the clutch and try to turn it with your hand, the drive clutch, and see if the motor's locked up. That'd be the easiest thing to do right off the bat. Make sure the motor's not locked up. Make sure you can turn the motor over by turning on the clutch. That'd probably be the first thing I'd do, just to eliminate that, because that wouldn't take any tools or anything to figure that out, just by twisting on the clutch with your hand. See if you can see if the motor's free. Then try to crank it and watch your starter generator. See if your starter generator is trying to go. See if it's trying to move at all. It should jerk, you know. If not, then you might have a starter generator problem. That's what I'm getting at. That's just a visual way to eliminate some of the possibilities. Since you know this, you're getting power to the solenoid, the problem is either going to be motor locked up, solenoid itself, or starter generator. So you got to figure out how to eliminate those. William Rizzo, Tim, I just sent you a couple of pictures of both what was selling eco batteries at market night at Sumter Landing in the Village. All right, cool. I'll take a look at it. Number 2. Pictures of a booth that was selling eco batteries at market night. Okay, so it's like a flea market kind of deal where a bunch of vendors. I'll check it out. All right, number 2 is from Dustin. I just purchased a 2008 Club Car President. I was told my cart should be set on level 3. I hooked my GPS up and this weekend, according to the GPS, my cart runs 14. Does that sound right to be set on level 3? Dustin, yeah. To me, that sounds right, Dustin. That's probably right. Because level 4 is going to be probably about 19.6, so level 3 could be 14, 15 range, something like that. So yeah, that's probably about right. That sounds normal. Number 3. Number 3 is from Michael S. 89 Club Car DS will run poorly after hitting bumps in the road. It will run slowly and without any power. If I hold the choke in, it will regain most of the power it lost. Usually this condition will clear itself in a few minutes, or it will rev out in neutral, and that will usually clear it up. Any ideas? I hold the choke in. Okay, well, this is one of those times where I always talk about, well, let's think about what's happening when you pull the choke. If a cart runs better when you pull the choke, let's think about what's happening when you pull in the choke. What is happening is that you're closing off the air. When you close off the air, that forces it to pump more fuel. All right. So if you pull the choke and the car runs better or regains its composure, then you're forcing more fuel. So something, when you hit the bumps, is causing it to lose fuel, is what it sounds like to me. Let me make sure that I'm understanding that question right. It will run slowly, and okay, so it will run, but it'll run slowly without any power. If I hold the choke, it will regain most of the power that it lost. This condition will clear itself after a few minutes, or I will rev it in neutral, and that usually clears it up. Yeah, something, sounds like you're, for some reason, I don't see how bumps would be causing you to lose fuel, but if the choke is helping, that's where I would be going. But I've never had bumps cause loss of fuel. I've seen bumps cause loss of spark or loss of ground. So, I wonder if it's a coincidence about the choke is what I'm saying. I wonder if you just got a loose ground somewhere. Mike Irvin, what's going on, Mike Irvin? 69 and sunny in southwestern Indiana. Larry England, hello everyone. What's up, Larry? Gary England, hello everyone. 66 and sunny here in Indianapolis. What was that? Number 3 or number 4? Yeah, number 3 was about the bumps. Number 4. Okay, here we go. Big Mike, I see you down there, buddy. How are you doing, sir? How's the family? From Jackson, number 4. Hi Tim, I bought an older G1. Cool. That runs when choked or choked partially. It's very loud and runs rough. Any idea what might be causing this? Does the exhaust leak at around the engine affect the running? How does the exhaust seal here? There's no seal on the exhaust where it goes to the cylinder. It just slides over that joint that got a, like a male and a female kind of thing there, and it just slides over. There's no sealing. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's just held on with springs. As far as the exhaust question, does the exhaust leak at or around the engine affect running? No, but the main thing on a G1 that does affect running as far as air leaks go is the crank seals. Almost every G1 in existence, except for mine, for some reason, needs new crank seals, just because they wear out. And what happens is it starts sucking air through those crank seals, and that affects everything. It affects how it runs, dramatically. I'm probably going to have to do my crank seals in this one day, but I've had the thing for over, I don't even know. I must have had it for 12, 13 years now, and I've never had to do anything to it. So I'm sure it's got to be time. But crank seals is what I would say on this number. If it runs because what happens is that it's just it forces it to pump more fuel, and if that helps it, then you're leaking air somewhere. You're getting too much air. That's what the deal is. All you're doing is evening the air to fuel ratio out by choking off air and adding fuel. So it very well could be leaking one or both. You got a crank seal on the clutch side, and then you got a crank seal on the flywheel side. I've heard many people say that's all they did, and their car runs much better. Do gas karts have a PVC? They do have a thing on. You're talking about 4-stroke karts, Craig? 4-stroke karts have a PVC valve on the valve cover. Some of them, it's I don't know if it's called a PVC valve, but it's basically the same thing. Number 5. Number 5 is from Keith, 91 Easy Go Marathon. Okay. Recently took its longest hilly trek since purchase. After driving for 20 minutes nonstop, the car stopped for no apparent reason on a hill. Coasted backwards to level area. After switching from forward to reverse and back a couple of times, the cart would move forward again. Decided we should head home. This happened 2 more times before the cart stopped running forward altogether. Okay, Keith, you never told me if this is an electric or gas cart, did you? Recently took its long, not for no apparent reason, coasted. Running forward altogether. You never told me if it's a electric or gas. Okay, I'm going to assume it was electric. All right. Sounds like you took an old Marathon on a hilly. Let's say it was electric, on a hilly trip, 20 minutes, and it stops for no reason. All right, goes dead for no reason. Well, you never told me about the condition of your batteries, so I'm going to ask that first. What about your batteries? How do you know that you didn't just have a battery drop out and that caused you to go dead? Because if, let's just say that a battery dropped out, your cart would stop for no apparent reason, and then you would waste some time going forward and reverse, and then it starts again, and then it does it again shortly down the road. That could be batteries. That's what batteries do. They kind of come back to life a little bit after you let it rest for a second, and then you can roll a little bit further. Even if you had one battery drop out, it would still do this. So you could roll a little bit further, that one battery would drop out again, and as soon as you stopped, just in that minute or two, that battery would kind of come back to life a little bit, and then you'd be able to go a little bit more. So it could be one battery dropping out. It could also be your controller. What year cart? 91. I believe 91 could be a controller cart. If it's not a controller cart, if it's a resistor cart, then I'm going to go back to batteries. But if it is a controller cart, the controller could be getting hot and shutting down. Also on that cart, if it's electric, you could have heat build up in your forward and reverse assembly. So you want to check for heat there. Be careful if you check for heat there barehanded, by the way. I tell people to check for heat in the, in series wound cars with a mechanical forward and reverse assembly. I always tell people to check for heat, but I can tell you from experience, if you check for heat barehanded and you find heat, it may be more heat than you wanted to find, barehanded wise. So be careful when checking for heat barehanded. Big Mike says, very good, everyone is doing great. How's yours? Oh, we're good. We are good. My wife just got back from, I think I told you who she works for. She works for somebody in your area over there. But she just got back from a business trip over there in your area. I think it snowed on her last week. Did y'all get snow? 5. That was number 5. Number 6. Joe Foster's amen to barehanded heat checking. That's exactly right. If you find heat, it may be more than you wanted to find if you're barehanding it. That's why sometimes those little you've seen those laser thermometers with just put the red dot on something. You want to get real fancy, get one of those. And number 6. This is from Esther, I guess is who this is. Hello, Tim. Is there an electric fuel pump available for a 295 E-Z-GO? Number 6. I don't know of one that's available specifically for a 295 E-Z-GO, but there's lots of electric fuel pumps that run off 12 volts, and your whole car is a 12 volt system. So you would just need to. I've never looked up the fuel pressure, but that number, that PSI for fuel pressure on a 295 E-Z-GO would be available, and then you would just get any kind of electric 12 volt fuel pump that would be compatible with approximately that fuel pressure if you wanted to do it. Easy Mike to you, late but made it. What's going on, Easy Mike to you? Bare hand exhaust manifolds, be a man. Yeah, well, I do, but sometimes it comes back to bite me. But yeah, we definitely had some snow. Next time she's out here, you should come too along and we'll meet up for dinner and a beer. That would be cool, man. I would do that. I don't know if they would let me, I don't know if her company would let me come. I don't know if Surf has, I don't know what the rules are. I'll have to ask her about that next time, because she does have to go there occasionally. Her job is remote, but a couple of times a year she does have to go in your area. Bob Wiltphone, what's going on, Bob? Hey Tim, it's been a while since I was able to tune in and catch your program. Well, I'm glad you're back. I'll tell you some things that we have changed, Bob, maybe if you've missed it. First of all, we're having trouble with Facebook. I don't know if you've noticed that, but we're having trouble with Facebook. I hope everybody that is on Facebook figured that out and figured out how to find us on YouTube today. It's kind of a hit and miss whether or not Facebook works. And another thing, I think I announced it last week that we're going to do different, is I'm not going to announce anymore the week in advance when we're going to give away a hat. I'm not going to do that anymore. It's just going to be random. So that's why you have to come join every week now, because you never know when it's going to be hat day. I don't like it when you know that when it's hat day, because then you might not show up only on hat day. Well, and also we have a lot more hats from Eco Battery you might not be aware of. We got more hats, we got t-shirts, so we have a lot more swag in inventory to give away. So we're going to do it possibly more often than we have been. So there you go. you got to come more often now. You got to come. You got to make sure you're here every episode because you never know when there are going to be some prizes to give away. Number 7. Wondering if it is this is from Max. Wondering if it is possible to install a fuel gauge on a Yamaha G9. I've seen them on other carts and want to install one on mine, but have no clue how to do it. Any help is appreciated, from Max. I would imagine, I don't remember exactly on a G9, but I would imagine that it's just like a G2. And on a G2, it does have a fuel gauge, but it's got the float type fuel gauge, and you read it just like you do on a G1. G1's the same way. There's a gauge on the gas tank itself, so you have to open up and look at the gas tank, but there's a gauge there because there's a float inside the tank. Well, the way that works is obviously it just floats and it moves the little gauge that's right there on top of the tank. Now, maybe you didn't know that had that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure I understand your question. Are you trying to put one on the dash so you don't have to look at that? If that's what you're trying to do, then that's going to be a little more complicated. You're going to have to retrofit something from a newer car that actually has a float type gas gauge that has a sending unit involved, and it wires to 12 volts and goes to your dash with a little gauge and has an LED readout. But there's not anything that I know of as far as a digital gas gauge for a G9 out there. So it's going to have to be something that you come up with yourself. But that's basically what you're going to have to do, is you're going to have to retrofit a newer system to your gas tank. And that may be more difficult or may be more trouble than you want to get into. Tommy Bedford, hey Tim, just got here. Almost slept through the whole episode. Well, that happens, Tommy. That happens. Let's see. What was that? Number 8? Was I on number 8? We're going to be early today because of me not having to click back on Facebook. Unknowingly, 6 8-volt batteries were installed in a 36-volt cart. What would be the consequences, if any? Well, there's going to be a lot. If this was a controller cart, then it's very likely that the controller popped immediately as soon as you turn the key on and hit the gas pedal. Now, if it wasn't a controller cart, if this was a resistor cart, you may get away with it. I wouldn't run it like that, and I know that it will run. But I wouldn't run it like that for a long period of time. I'd put the correct batteries in it. So that would be my question would be, is it a controller cart or is it a resistor cart? Cyrus, 6 8-volt batteries. And please don't try to charge it like that, because nothing's going to work right. So worst case scenario, you pop the controller. That's going to be worst case scenario of that. Because as soon as that popped, you wouldn't be able to run it anymore. So that'd probably be worst case scenario. Okay. Derek Shane over on YouTube asks, good morning, Tim. What's going on, Derek? 93 DS 36 volt. See, there it goes. A lot of people don't even realize that Club Car made 36 volt cars. They think about Club Car and they think that they're 48 volts. Well, they made 36 volt cars. They're not as common. I know batteries can give off a scent while charging. Yes, they can. It smells like rotten eggs sometimes. You should think about this, Derek. I don't know if you play golf or anything like that, but you go out in your garage, at your house, and your golf cart's been charging, and you smell that smell. Imagine going into a big, huge garage that has 50 to 100 golf carts in there on charge. That's what's going on at a golf course in the cart shed. Talk about if you think about it too much when you're walking through there, I mean, this poisonous gas, is hazardous. Let's see. Can give off a scent while charging, but my CO2 gas detector in garage went off while charging. Pack was 41 volts, positive charge. Is charger overcharging? No. The answer is no. 41 volts is not overcharging. And on a 36 volt car, it could get up to around 46 before it's fully charged. It's going to be somewhere between 41 and 46 is what it could get to. Okay, the batteries are 2023 Trojan T105s. The charger is original, shuts off on its own. If I ever wanted to get a new charger, what would work for an older cart? Well, it's not necessarily what would work for an older cart. It's what will work for a set of 6 Trojan T105s. It doesn't have to be for an older cart. It doesn't know that the cart's old when you plug the charger in. It only knows the condition of the batteries. But 41's could easily not be time yet for it to shut off. So I wouldn't be scared of 41. Let it go for a while. Charge it outside or ventilate. See if you can do something about ventilation if you're actually smelling something. But as long as the water is actually in the batteries, not boiling out, don't worry about it. Get it charged up completely the first time. I probably have a 36 volt charger, a used one. If you would like one, get in touch with me. If you need to replace that, I've got a used 36 volt charger. Big garage of farts, yeah. But it's, actually more hazardous than a fart. The gas detector may be picking up an explosive gas like hydrogen from the batteries. Yeah, I forgot about that part of the question. The CO2 gas detector is going on. Yeah, it's picking up something for sure. Did I do number 8? Yeah, I did. Number 8 was that question about the wrong batteries. Number 9. Big Mike, holy crap, I'm listening with Greg, and that ring was yeah, I usually mute my phone, but I forgot today. Sorry about that. The phone is closer to the mic than I am, so I bet that was. Bob Wiltfong asked, I have a 2011 EasyGo TXT 48 volt. Charger got unplugged, and when I plugged it in yesterday, the charger would not even kick in. I assume I'll need to individually charge the 8 volt batteries. Well, it's very possible, Bob, but you can get a handheld voltmeter and verify if that's the case or not just by touching your voltmeter to each individual battery and getting a reading. If they're all around 8 volts, then they're fine, and you do not have to disconnect anything in order to do that. Just go to each individual battery, positive and negative lead from your voltmeter, positive and negative terminal on each battery, and check each one of them. You don't have to disconnect any wires, and check that out. Okay, you got headphones on. I got you. What was listening with? It thought it changed headphones to Greg? Okay. Number 9. This is from Vance. I have a 48 volt club card, 1995. Okay, that could be good and could be bad, because in 1995 there's 2 different potentiometers that could be used. Uh, I tested the old batteries and they were all weak but not bad. I replaced them with brand new batteries, but the cart is still slow. Is there something that could be causing this? It has a 3.5 horsepower motor. That sounds stock on a 1995. The V-guide looks good and the wires look good. I have another 48 volt cart that is a whole lot faster. So I know this thing has something holding it back. Could it be a type of governor on it? Well, see, when I first read the question, I said, when I saw that it was a 1995 48 volt club car, I said, well, that could be good or it could be bad. But you answered one of my questions because you said V-Glide looks good. All right. So if that is true, that means your car has a V-Glide and it doesn't have that wonky potentiometer that it could have had in 1995. It's got the V-Glide. The V-Glide's much better. All right. So the only thing that the V-Glide could do that could be affecting your speed, see, it would be the V-Glide that's affecting your speed. It's not going to be your motor. It's not going to be your controller. Unlikely it's not going to be your controller at all. It's either going to be your batteries, but you've replaced your batteries, or it's going to be something to do with the signal that the V-Glide is sending. So the first thing you need to do, if you haven't done it, you didn't tell me that. You just said it looked good. You said the V-Glide looked good. Well, I need to know, is the wiper arm going all the way to the top contact when you press the accelerator pedal? All the way to the top contact. That's the thing I need to know, because that's the first thing I need to know, because that could affect your speed if it's not. What happens in DS cars over time? You have to think about this as often as you step on the gas pedal or electric accelerator pedal and let off. Then you step on it and let off. That can happen like in a round of golf. That may happen 100 times or more. So there's linkages in there. And so if 100 times or more every time the cart gets used, some of those linkages are going to wear out over time. They're going to start to wear. They're going to start to have wear points. What happens when that starts to wear is that V-Glide wiper arm or the M-Core twisting rod is not going to go quite as far as it used to when you press the pedal all the way to the floor. So in other words, if a cart has many, many hours on it, a Club Car DS or a DS with M-Core or even a Precedent with M-Core, if it has a whole lot of hours on it, those linkages get worn out and it's not quite going wide open anymore, you know, and you need to either replace linkages, or you got to put something to fill that little gap, or you have to adjust that V-Glide to go to the top contact. Carl Johns, hello from Chesterfield. What's going on, Carl Johns? I checked and most of the batteries were really low readings. Unfortunately, I don't have a charger with 8 volt. Can I recharge with a 6 volt? Nope. You can't use a 6 volt, Bob. It's not going to work with a 6 volt charger. You're going to have to, if you don't have a 6 volt charger or a 12 volt charger with a 6 volt setting, then you're going to have to do it on 12 volts. But I know that sounds crazy, but that's the only way. If that's your only choice, you can do it. I don't recommend it, but you can do it. I've done it myself. You're going to have to put it on 12 volts, but only do about an hour on each battery. You know, don't put a 12 volt battery on an 8 volt battery, a 12 volt charger on an 8 volt battery, and then walk away and forget about it. Put a 12 volt charger on an 8 volt battery. Set yourself a timer for about 30 minutes to an hour, and then come back and change it to the next battery and do the same thing. 6 volts not going to do you any good. 12 volt will do you some good in order to get the readings up. Joseph Simmons, why do they make alternators for golf cart when you're running it? It can be charged up the battery at the same time. What are you talking about there, Joseph? You're talking about, why do they make alternators for golf cart when you're running it? It can be charged up the battery at the same time. I'm not sure I understand your question there. Are we talking about gas cars, or are you talking about something that should be on an electric car? Because they actually do have what an alternator does on both a little bit. Like on electric cars, it's called regenerative braking. That actually does put a little bit of power back into the battery pack on electric cars. That's when you let off the accelerator pedal. It actually has a little bit of power goes back into the battery. On gas cars, they obviously have a starter generator or voltage regulator set up that does the same thing as an alternator does. It actually charges the battery while the car is running. That's one of the things on gas cars that I always like to check right off the bat, because that can cause a lot of problems if that's not working, you know, on your gas card. So what are we talking about there? Gas or electric cars there, Joseph? All right. Use the trickle volt setting, 12 volts on each battery for an hour. No, not trickle, Bob. I'd hit it with something harder than a trickle. The trickle volt setting is going to be a real low amperage setting, maybe even too low for what you're trying to accomplish. So just put it on what your charger, what does it have? What settings does it have? Your 12 volt charger. By the way, they do make 6 volt chargers if you wanted to do it, you know, the correct way. You could get a 6 volt charger. You can get them. You can even get an 8 volt charger. I'm sorry, not a 6 volt charger. You got an 8 volt. They do make 8 volt chargers. Some of my customers have pointed it out to me, and you can get an 8 volt charger on Amazon. But you can get by with your 12 just because what you're trying to accomplish, you're not actually trying to fully charge the battery. You're just trying to get the volt readings up enough that your regular battery will come on. But I'd hit it just with the regular 12 volt setting for about an hour, or 30 minutes to an hour. Maybe try 30 minutes first and see what that gets you on that battery, and move to, if it didn't get you very far, try an hour on the next battery. Just don't forget about it, because it's going to ruin something if you walk away and forget. Okay, 6 amp will be fine then. Yeah, that's a big charger you got there. That's a big 12 volt charger. Yeah, 6 amp, 12 volt setting, 6 amp for about 30 minutes on the first battery. See what that did. Take your voltmeter, see what that got you. If it didn't get you very far at all, do an hour, but leave 6 amps. You don't want to do 25. Number 10 is going to be the last scheduled question. Number 10 is from Miles A. Hey Tim, 2011 HDK 36 volt cart. Motor crapped out and all the shops around have no insight on where to get one or know where to get it rebuilt. Do you know where I can get a new one? And then there's the motor thing, 36 volt 19 spline. That is something you're going to have to make some phone calls there, Miles. Bob Wiltphone, thanks for all the info. You rock. Oh, thank you, sir. Miles, you're going to have to make some phone calls. You're going to have to call one of the some of the main motor people, like the main motor rebuilders. The one that's in that cart, which I think I might be having a problem with, by the way. I'll get to that another episode. Is an EMP, stands for Electrical Motor Products. They're a rebuilder. They should be able to answer any question you have about the compatibility issue for an HDK 36 volt 19 spline cart. That's one of them you could call. You could call D&D Motors. Tell them D&D Motors. They're one of the major motor. You could Plum Quick is another motor rebuilder. They may know exactly what an HDK motor is or what it needs to be. But you're going to have to make some calls and see if you can find somebody that understands your situation. I see what you're trying to do. It's just an odd cart, but 19 spline shunt wound's not odd. That's what it's going to be. That's going to, well, I don't know, it's 36 volt. But HDK, see, they're going to know what questions to ask. The first question they're going to ask is, does it have a run tow switch? That's what they're going to ask. Then they're going to know if that's a 36 volt series system or if that's a 36 volt shunt wound system, which would be odd. So that may be the issue that's causing you problems in finding a replacement. Joseph Simmons says, oh yeah, does Plum Quick not rebuild or D&D? Does Plum Quick not rebuild or D&D? AA Ron. What's going on, AA Ron? Yeah, Plum Quick does rebuild, and D&D has new motors. I don't think D&D rebuilds, but EMP is a motor rebuilder. Joseph Simmons says, I was talking about electric golf cart waters. When you're running it, can it be charging the battery pack up, and then you get home, you plug the charger back up. Cart when you're running. Tommy Bedford, should you pack the front bearings every spring, and what would be the best grease for a low speed bearing like that? Tommy, it's probably, well, it's never a bad idea to do that, but I can tell you this, nobody does that. No, nobody packs their front bearings every spring, I can promise you. Now, it definitely is not going to hurt anything if you wanted to do that. And I would just use your regular bearing grease. There's going to be grease you could find that just says bearing grease. That would be fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. But what's the main thing that's important, I've seen, because I've seen golf carts that were neglected their entire life, so I know what parts are going to eventually wear out. It's usually not the bearings. It's usually not neglected bearings that wears out. Neglected spindles will wear out in the front end if they never shoot grease in those. Like some spindles don't even have a grease setting, don't even have a grease zerk or grease fitting or whatever you want to call it, alamite. Some spindles don't even have that at all. Some spindles do. I've always thought that was kind of funny when I come across those E-Z-Gos they have sealed spindles. There's no way to put grease in there. Well, eventually that is going to cause a problem. That kingpin is going to dry out inside there. So I always think that that's more important than the bearings themselves, is the spindles in that area. But it wouldn't hurt anything to do that for sure. Rich East, let's see. Pack the front bearings every spring. Big Mike, what's a good lead acid out there right now? Mine are on their 4th season, and I think they're on their way out. I've been a Trojan battery dealer. Can you see that sign right there? Have been a Trojan battery dealer long before I went to work for Golf Cart Garage. I mean, back when I had my own shop, I was a Trojan battery dealer for years. And the reason is because I tried everything in the beginning. I tried all the different brands, and I've had the least amount of trouble out of Trojan than any other brand by far. And I'm not talking about just a little bit. I've had the least amount of trouble by far with a set of Trojan lead acids than any other brand. I had a set of Trojan lead acids that I posted this on the golf cart forum. I used to be heavily involved in the golf cart forums, the main ones. I know you've all heard me talk about it, cartaholics.com and buggiesgonewild.com. I posted a picture of the discharge tester. I know I've talked about the discharge tester before. The discharge machine is an expensive machine that puts a big load on a lead acid battery pack, and depending on how long it goes in time, it can give you an excellent idea of how good that battery pack is on that given day, because things can change tomorrow, but on that given day that battery pack is good. So anyway, it uses time, amount of time. A brand new battery pack, brand new Trojan lead acid batteries should go anywhere between 105 to 115 minutes on the discharge tester before it clicks off, and it'll give you the amount of time, about 115 minutes, something like that. Well, I posted a picture on the golf cart forum one time for people that in the technical section that knew how significant that picture was. A picture of the golf cart thing, 115 minutes. The Trojan lead acid pack was 3 years old. 3 years old, and it went 115 minutes on the discharge tester. You show me another brand of lead acid batteries that will do that, and then I'll change my opinion. Rich says to Joseph, I don't think the laws of physics would permit that. Okay, so you understand the question like I did, Rich. He's talking about an electric cart that will charge up as it's running. Yeah, yeah. There's a law of physics that says I don't remember the name of the law, but it has something to do with you can't get more power out than you're putting in, something like that. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Tim, sorry I didn't get any of your pictures. Didn't get you any pictures. I've been sick and not able in the garage at all this week. That's fine, man. Just whenever you can. I was sick too. You can ask people on here. Some people pointed it out. I was sick for the entire month of January and pretty much all of February. And I'm much better now, but it took a while. Ricky Smith, Tim, when looking at 36 volt lithium, what parameters should I be looking at? 200 amp BMS is the only thing that I would worry about. And if your golf cart is stock, then get it. You can get away with a smaller amp hour. If your golf cart is not stock, you're going to need to go with 105 amp hour and larger. Is what I would do. And I did get your email, Ricky. Oh, I answered it. Yeah, that's right. You got it. You got my response about that cart. Well, real quickly, since we're a little early today, I can go over the deal with this cart and the lithium. I am testing one of the cheaper lithium batteries in this cart. But that cart was in storage for years. It was my personal cart. When we moved from Texas to Arkansas, it had to stay in a storage building for a while until I got set up with my new shop and everything. I had no place to put it. So yeah, it just sat in there for years. But when it went in there, I can assure you everything was fine with it. Something changed apparently. I put the lithium in there and I was having some problems. And to eliminate the battery as being the issue, because I wanted to give accurate feedback on the battery that I put in there, the lithium battery, because it's not one that we sell at Golf Cart Garage. So I'm kind of testing it to see if it's worth it or not, because it is a lesser expensive alternative. So I put it in there. Turns out I got an issue. Well, I decided to eliminate the battery completely. I took the thing out yesterday and stuck it in the race car. The race car has never been run on 36 volts. It's always been run on 48, 72, and even 144 volts. This is a 36 volt lithium battery, single battery like D-Max uses. It's perfectly fine. The race car will run like a scalded dog. I'm going to clock it today. I'm going to take I wish I could figure out how to video. I'm going to clock it today and see how fast it is, because this is only a 36 volt setup. So it's not my battery. The battery is fine. So I either have a controller issue or a motor issue on that thing, and I'm not going to be able to start using it again until I figure that out. I may be about to switch that whole thing over to an AC system or something. I'm not sure, but it would definitely, at this point, the battery is definitely eliminated as a problem. And if I can figure out how to video me clocking it, and this is with a 36 volt battery now, but you got to understand the race car is on 6-to-1 gears. 6-to-1 gears. That's the fastest ones, the highest gear ratio that I know of that you can put in a E-Z-GO TXT rear end. It's got a controller about that big that's like 1800 amps that I had built for me from an electrical engineer guy who used to make parts for me years ago. The controller will work just fine on a very wide range of voltages. That's why I was saying it's never been run on 36 volts, but it runs fine on 36 volts. It runs fine 48, 72, and like I said, I have hit it with 144. I think he put on the side of it that it should be fine up to 196 volts, but I'll never do that. Not now. I'll never go that far. I'll probably never do 144 again. When I did 144, it was on lead acid, and it was a very heavy car. You can imagine to get 144 volts in there. I was using smaller batteries, but I used 12 of them, and it's still quite heavy. I think the batteries I used were Odyssey PC 925s, which I believe are about 26 pounds a piece. So whatever that comes out to, 26 times 12, it's still pretty heavy cart. So now, since then, lithium is available. I can only imagine what it would do on lithium, because 36 volts on lithium runs pretty good. So far, it's not the battery, but I'll be determining that for sure today, and then I'll get back to the car and figure out whether it's motor or controller. Ricky Smith says his cart is all stock, so maybe 100 amp hour would be fine if it's all stock and you never plan to put a lift kit and taller tires and all that kind of stuff on it in the future. Like this cart is lifted, but those tires are actually only 20s. They're not like 22, 23s or anything crazy. So those aren't really far off of stock. So that's why I went ahead and am using 105 amp hour. But if you never plan to do that, then that would be plenty. And you'll be happy for sure, I can tell you. Tommy Bedford, I thought about putting anti-seize in the bearings and see how well that does. Are you trying to just, helpless, perpetual motion? Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Tommy, are you just trying to decrease your rolling resistance as much as possible? Is that what you're doing? Then, because I used to, think about that with the race car too. That's exactly what I did. I used to think about rolling resistance. Any type of rolling resistance is actually hurting your efficiency, especially in an electric car. Kept using Amazon bearing. I found myself messing with bearings all the time. I bought American lead acid. I probably won't do that again. Black box. I tell you, I talk to a lot of people about batteries, all different brands, all the time, including lead acid, not just lithium, but lead acid. And I tell you what not to do, and some of you may have already done it, but I'm basing this on calls that I get from people. Don't get those golf cart batteries from Sam's that are labeled Duracell. You're going to be disappointed. You're going to end up spending more money than if you had bought a set of Trojans in the beginning, because you're going to end up having to replace them so quickly. I have not heard anything good about those in golf carts. I haven't heard anything good. Usually I hear, one story or two about, different products and stuff like that, and then I have positive and negative views from people on stuff. Not on those. I haven't heard anything positive about those, except for the price. That's it. Aaron, Ricky, he's using a 48 volt, 100 amp hour, 200 amp BMS, 10 horsepower D&D with All-Trax controller, 6-inch lift, 22-inch tires, and I have 0 issues. Cool. That's the kind of things we need to know right there. So I think the important thing there is you want to get as high an amperage BMS as you can, and as high an amp hour as you can. Especially if you're going to start running a 22-inch tires and stuff like that. So if that is no issues, then you're definitely not going to have an issue in a cart that's all stock, because he's got the D&D motor that's pulling harder, the All-Trax controller is pulling harder, the 22-inch tires is making the motor pull harder. So he's got a lot of pull on that battery pack. And if he has no issues with that setup, then you know that a 100 amp hour with a 200 amp BMS should handle anything. That's what I'm saying. That's good information. Easy Mike to You uses 2 30 amp hours. Yeah, so that's going to be, you use 2 30 amp hours in parallel, so that's going to be a 60 amp hour battery pack on a TXT 48 volt. Works great. Yeah, see, 60 is about as low as I would go on even a stock cart, even a stock golf cart. William Rizzo says, please remember to show your appreciation for Tim and Dave by hitting the like button. Well, thank you, William. David Irvin, I wonder why my 2024 club car does not have an oil filter. Well, it's probably because they use there's a lot of Yamahas like that too. They call it the splash system. They just eliminate the oil filter out of the equation, and then they're just going to assume that you're going to change your oil every year anyway. So if that's the case, if you do change your oil on a golf cart every year, then an oil filter is not really necessary. So that's just one part of the tune-up kit that you don't have to worry about. It's called the splash system. It just splashes the oil all around inside your motor, and then you change it every year, and you're absolutely fine. Tommy Bedford said, I figured that would increase the speed and the distance. Well, you could be right, Tommy, because it's going to reduce, you know, if you can get the least rolling resistance possible, then it will. You know, it might be so slight that it's immeasurable, but it will help. Aaron says, wife and went 35 miles with 55% battery left. Cool. 2017 Yamaha QuietTech doesn't have an oil filter either. Yeah, they just eliminate that on some cars, and they just want you to change the oil occasionally. You know, makes the tune-up kit easier. It's actually, if you're like me and you're going to change your oil, it's actually a good thing because tune-up kits don't cost as much because you don't have to pay for an oil filter. All right. This is some of the, in case some of you have missed the last few episodes, I've been showing some of the new swag that we have. I'll show it again real quick. If I have it doing. Okay, here's the regular stuff. I don't have any pictures, Joe. I don't have any pictures today. So we're going to let's see pictures of the hats again. That's what we're going to do. Big Mike, 48 volt, Trojan T875. T875s. They're all going to be the same. They're all going to be same amp hour if you're talking about 8 volt batteries. If you're talking about 6 volt batteries, T105s. They're going to be the best ones for golf carts, for 36 volt carts. But if you're talking about 48 volt cart, then get T875s. Hat graphic. Okay, there we are. If you'd like to buy a Golf Cart Garage hat from golfcartgarage.com, you are welcome to. There are links in the descriptions that'll take you right to them. That is the set of that you can get from there. That's what we have had all this time. That is still available, and you'll have your choice when we give hats away. That is still available, but now we have other ones too. Let's see. There's one. That's the t-shirts we have available also from Eco Battery. There's one of the Eco Battery hats. It's got the patch on the front like that. It's a dark, you know, kind of almost black hat with the patch, big EB in white. It says Eco Battery. That's one set we got. Here's another one. There's the other Eco Battery. That's pretty cool looking one with the green stitching. EB lithium. I kind of like that. I have one of those. Number 3, what is this? Okay, that's just the front of the shirt. That's just another picture with the front. What? Why, Mike? What do you feel? Why do you feel attacked after asking about lead acid? Oh, because of all the lithium stuff. Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, you don't hardly get questions like that anymore, Mike. I mean, you got to catch up with us. Everybody else, man. That's questions you should have been asking 15 years ago. Yeah, where does it say that? Which one it says that? Where's that T-shirt? Friends don't let friends do lead acid. There you go. Mr. D, found out more about that ACG cart, Tim. It's a Sevcon Gen 4 48 volt 450 amp AC motor, controller, electric EV, ACG golf cart with club car DS frame, and the only motor that is used for extra braking. I've heard of that AC motor, that Sevcon, Mr. D. I think I was just looking at it, in fact, in the dealer magazine before I went live today. But that sounds pretty cool. Send me a picture of it, Mr. D. Where's my email? Here it is. Anybody send me some pictures if you can of some golf cart stuff or Corvette stuff or something like that, and I'll talk. We'll show them for the Let's See segment. But send me some pictures of that cart, Mr. D. I'd like to see it, and the motor. Take a picture of the motor too. I think I know which motor it is. Is 105 amp hour enough? Well, that's the big question, Big Mike. That's what Aaron was pointing out. He has, let me scroll back. His is only 100 amp hour, but it does have a 200 amp BMS. But he's got a lot of stuff on there. His setup is going to pull hard, similar to yours with the 23-inch tall tires, and he's had zero issues with his setup. I mean, that is significant info right there for lots of people, including your question there. He's got 22s. I know you're running 23s, but he's got a D&D 10 horsepower motor and an All-Trax controller. So he's got a lot of pull going on. It's hitting that battery hard, and it's a 100 amp hour battery with a 200 amp BMS. So that would be fine for you. I'm telling you. I mean, that's why I was saying that's significant info. What all would I have to change to go to lithium? You don't have to change anything, because your lithium battery is going to come with a new lithium charger. You don't have to change anything. You just have to get ready to lose about 300 pounds in your ride, because that's what's going to happen. You're all of a sudden, your ride is going to lose 300 pounds, and that alone is going to make it feel like it's a lot stronger, because your power to weight ratio is going to have shifted so much. William Rizzo says he gets about 40 miles with 105 amp hour. Cool. Yeah, it's stuffed in there. I'm possibly picking up tomorrow. I'll email you. All right, cool. Aaron says I pull 120 to 130 amps from dead stop to wheelie, popping full throttle. See, that's good information to know too. That tells you that the 200 amp BMS is doing its job, because he hadn't popped it yet. See, a lot of people think about that, and they don't realize that it's way difficult to pull a huge amount of amps. Dead stop pulling a wheelie is about the most you're going to ever pull. And see, he's only pulling 120 to 130. So you can have a 600 amp controller, and the 600 amps in that controller never gets utilized. It may not ever get utilized. Now, it's there if you ever do get a setup in order to pull 600 amps out of that controller, but just in everyday riding and even popping wheelies and punching it from a dead stop, you're never going to even get close to that. Okay, well, between the shirts and all you guys, my lead acid search is now over. I think that would be wise in this channel nowadays. Bruce, I always tell people it's like losing one of me off of your cart when you switch to lithium. Yeah, it is. Think how much power your cart would have without you on it. Without you on the cart. That's a good way to look at it. SP 48500. That's the 500 amp controller. Yep. Cool. Yeah, sounds like you have a good setup, especially with the lithium and with the weight savings and everything that the lithium is doing, and you still have that everything working good. Did you have to, Aaron, did you have to do anything with the field maps? Did you have to program anything into that Ultrax in order to match it to that motor? Did you have to, or did they recommend, did D&D recommend doing anything to match that controller's, I guess it's called field maps, because mine is matched, is what I'm saying, in that one. That's what's, I'm kind of worried about that, because I remember I downloaded a special field map into that controller to match it to my motor. Big Mike, you won't be sorry. Big Mike says, yeah, because my name on here isn't Small Mike. Now, that's not what I was meaning there. I meant no disrespect or anything there. I'm just saying it's just like anybody getting off of their cart. Just imagine how much power your cart would have if you were not on it, or, you know, just anybody weren't on it. I wasn't really talking specifically about you, Mike, but. All right. Let me see here. Guess I can take my email down. I showed those. Okay, there's the coupon. You can get the 5% off if you order something from Golf Cart Garage. If you use the coupon code TIM29, TIM29. This code expires on March the 15th, so this is still an active code, March the 15th. No mapping match. Okay, cool. That's what I wanted to know, because my motor builder, like I said, that the motor that's in there is from a builder, from EMP, and he wanted to make sure that I ran this special field map when on that motor. So I literally had to get the laptop out and change the field map matching in there in the Ultrax controller to match what he wanted for that motor. And I've had zero issues, you know, for that for years until now. You know, I'm still trying to hook up the lithium, and now I'm having an issue. I got a problem with something in there. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Any Eco sales? Yeah, Ecos are on sale, Mike, at Golf Cart Garage. Eco lithiums are on sale. You know what I mean by lithium, Mike? That's the new batteries that we have now. You know, as an alternative to lead acid. I'm just checking to make sure that you understand that. Yeah, they're on sale. They're 20% off. Also, Summit 2 chargers are back in stock in case anybody needs a Summit 2 charger for their lead acid batteries. Summit 2s actually have a lithium setting on there, but it would probably be advisable to check with your specific lithium manufacturer to see if a Summit 2 is approved to charge your lithium battery. But I'm using an old version of the controller. That's the old metal rectangular box. It may not have all the latest and greatest features of the new controllers. Well, I'm actually talking about the old controllers, Aaron. Mine's old too. That Ultrax in there. It's not one of the new blue ones. It's the white one that has the serial port that you plug a laptop in. Good question, Mr. D. Is the Trojan lithium any good or still young to know? That I would say still young to know, because they just recently started coming out with the single Trojan lithium. You know how, so it's almost like they've been behind this whole golf cart lithium game all the way to now, because they just now started advertising that they have a single 48 volt or a single 36 volt lithium, you know, instead of doing the 12 volts, you know, in series. So I don't know anybody that has one. So I'd like to. If anybody has a Trojan lithium, I mean, let me know, because that would be very interesting to know if those are good. I'd like to, you know what I'd like to hear? I'd like to hear somebody that has a lithium that wasn't any good, you know, that didn't turn out to be good. That would be interesting. Mine does have the USB square port as well. See, mine's old, so old it doesn't even have a USB. Mine doesn't have a USB port. Mine's got a serial port. That's the old-timey port. All right, guys. I guess we better get out of here. I'm running a little bit late here. I didn't know we was going to run this long without even having Facebook going. I appreciate everybody coming up. Please give a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up. Anything you can would be very much appreciated. I will see everybody on next Tuesday. We're looking to possibly go with them also. Just talked with them this morning, and their warranty is pretty good. Cool, Bruce. I'll get you some in-process pictures soon. All right, cool, Aaron. I will see you guys later. I will see you next Tuesday, which will be, looks like it's going to be Tuesday the 18th will be next Taco Tuesday. And we will do this again. We'll talk about it, a lot of golf cart stuff. And by then I'll probably have some more review on my 36 volt single, very inexpensive lithium battery that I'm testing out. I'm going to drive it today, so wish me luck, because it will run. Put it this way, I'm expecting over 30 miles an hour out of it on 36 volts. On 36 volt. So we'll see how close I am. William says he'll be back in the Keys. All right, dudes. Garage is now closed.